Hey friends, I hope you are doing well. Honestly, every time I do these videos now, it feels like it's been a lifetime since I've been able to engage with you guys, but usually it's like 1 or 2 months. And I think that's just the reality of the pandemic, right? Like, we've been in this season in New York City since March, and that's been what, 7 or 8 months? But my goodness, has it been a journey, right? And first and foremost, thank you for being on that journey with us. This has been an interesting semester to say the least. And what I initially think about is that our semester really began in July. You know, typically we rev up in August and do a lot of outreach during September, and things kind of slow down in October. But this has been a very different season of revving up and just kind of going all out since July, August, September, and then kind of had a pivot for our own sanity in October. And what I want to report on is, three major themes that are kind of have been occurring or are currently occurring in this time. And so the first one I would describe is the students is stress. I think there's a reality where, one of the videos earlier in this time, I was asking for you guys to be praying for our students because of the emotional regression and suppression that was going on. And I think in this semester especially, we started to see the pandemic and the emotional toll start to manifest more than ever in our students, with some very severe mental health problems, but then also a fatigue that goes on to our students to this day. And so what's been interesting in this time is we've been really adapting our ministry with the expectation that our students would be tired and exhausted. But what we've seen from the university, and then specifically their individual classes, is the professors are putting either the same expectations, if not more expectations, in the classroom on the students. And in a pandemic time, it's only made them more stressed and feel more fatigued than ever. And so that fatigue has manifested itself in a way that I've never experienced before with our students, of kind of that fight, flight, or freeze response. And so that has been just a whole new experience of ministry with us, in terms of loving them, spurring them on towards love, but then also saying, how do we care for them well in this time that we really don't know, how long this will be. So the first word is stress. But we as a staff, I think we anticipated the stress, we anticipated the overwhelmness. I mean, there's a reality of planning ahead and facing the reality, but we knew ahead of time that that would start to affect us. And so even at the beginning of when we were thinking about this semester, we realized that by mid-October, we needed to, for our own well-being, really kind of have a moment where we chose as a staff team to model and live into rest. So in mid-October, all of us had planned to do each of us a personal retreat. And so that was, I have to tell you, an important and essential strategic choice for us to do as a staff. So some of us went upstate, some of us remained here in the city, but after that week, we all returned with a level of being refreshed by the Lord, but then also kind of what I really enjoyed is that God spoke to each of us in an individual and powerful way. So we left that time feeling refreshed, ready to kind of take on the rest of the semester, but then also felt, challenged, of like the Lord was really bringing things up within us. And so that was really, I can't imagine what this semester would be like without taking that personal retreat, for sure. And then the last thing I just wanted to update you guys on is politics, right? I mean, the election is less than a week away. And we talked to the students about how do we love and serve you guys well when you think about this election in terms of talking about this or addressing it. And so we, as the student leaders began to discuss how are we going to address this topic, because ultimately when we were thinking about our community, there's a verse in Galatians 5 that talks about if we bite or devour each other, watch out, or we will be destroyed by each other. We kind of recognize that we live in that climate as a nation and as a community. We don't want to be biting or devouring each other. And on that same day, I got an email from an alumni, Ryan Patch, who said, I've been working on a documentary to talk about what are the foundations of a Christian when they think about politics in America. And we decided basically that we were going to play that documentary and then have our students break out into their own groups to be able to talk about politics in light of this documentary. And I have to tell you, that was amazing. That was so influential in terms of the impact of being able to hear Christians from different, basically kind of looking at politics at different angles, but united under the idea that this is a calling of loving our neighbor. And so that was, frankly, I'm gonna put the link on the description of where you can come across this video. But I have to tell you, it just really, in a time of tension, it was relieving as well as uniting for us to think about how do we think about politics in the nature of loving our neighbors. So anyway, just wanted to give you guys a quick update that we are really seeking the kingdom in a time that is unlike any other. And I just want to thank you guys for the support. Ultimately, that's what I would be asking you guys to be praying about right now, is ultimately about the stress on the students right now, that they would choose to abide deeply in the Lord, that we would choose rest, wise rest in seasons like this, especially as we see that the pandemic is going to keep going, and we don't know when normal will return. And then finally, let us be lifting up this nation as this election is happening with a prepared expectation of how are we going to love our neighbors? How are we going to love our neighbors that we agree with, that we disagree with, that are going to be shocked or are going to be encouraged after this election? So thank you guys very much. And I'll talk to you soon.